Hello, everybody, and welcome to Conversations with Kenny Graves. And it's our first time, hopefully not the last, using a video feature, but it's a special occasion because right now with us, we have award-winning singer and songwriter, a proud member of the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame and winner of American Idol Season 17, the very popular Laine Hardy. Laine, how are you doing, the pride of Livingston, Louisiana?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm just happy to wake up this morning.
Well, I appreciate you coming on with us, brother. First off, we'll kick it off here. Could you tell me a little about Jet and your other dogs?
I sure can. Before Jet, it was blackmouth Kemmer mountain curs. Me and my daddy and my brother, we'd go up to Missouri turkey hunting every spring or every time the season rolled around. That's how those dogs came about around here. We'd bring one or two back with us every time we left there, but Uh, Jet, he's a he's a golden doodle. He's one of those dogs. He's that dog in my life, I think. So every man has that one dog, one good dog.
I agree with that. My wife's in love with him, by the way. She'd like to
Really,
take Jet home, but we have enough already. But
everybody wants to take him home,
all right.
but but
And just curious, this fall, what are you expecting out of the LSU Tigers?
I have no idea. But that's my home state team, and
Mhm.
I support them.
All right, we'll get to some of your story now. You started playing very early, and you would even join up in a band. So talk about the band Hardy.
So the band Hardy, um, it was before I was part of it. Uh, it was started way before I could even sing or anything like that. But um, my brother and a few of my cousins, they got together one night after I guess a little jam session. It turned into that, and they were like, you know what, would be cool. We could start a band, and they started a band, and um, I was in the last years of my guitar lessons because I took guitar lessons. I started at 8 years old and kind of stopped around 13 going. I still talk to the teacher that taught me. He's a good friend of mine. But um, right when I stopped taking lessons, I think in between 13 and 14 years old, my brother and all them were practicing next door at my uncle's house, and I heard them in the distance because I mean you can't. It's hard to miss drums outside. So I walked over there with my custom amp and my G&L, my electric guitar, and I said, "Hey, can I sit in and play? Just practice." I mean, whatever. And I became lead guitar player for them, and I didn't start singing till about a year after to take a load off my brother because his voice. We were doing 4 hour shows. Like I was 14 years old doing 4 hour shows with them, but then I finally started singing after I joined them.
All right. Well, you mentioned starting your lessons at the age of 8. Who were some of your early music influences?
Uh, Elvis would be the one that kind of sparked it for me.
The
Uh,
man, the
I can tell
king.
you real briefly about how that happened if you want.
Sure, I love a good Elvis story.
Okay. Well, me and my mom, that's how a lot of it started. Let me see. Well, me and my mom, we were going down this road. It's like a main road going to town. I can't remember what for, but she had a radio station on and it was playing classic, just traditional rock and roll. And I had no clue what rock and roll was, anything. I just was aware of it. I was teen at the point, like at that time. I was like, Mom, I was like, who is that? And she said, Elvis Presley. And I was like, I like him. And it was Heartbreak Hotel. And ever since then, I asked her for a guitar. Well, that day, I asked her, hey, I think I still believe in Santa Claus, and I still do. I don't want to ruin anybody's, you know what I mean. I'd probably leave Santa Claus out of this because I want Christmas gifts. But uh, I asked her for that, and I got a first act guitar from Walmart, and she took me to somebody that my aunt knew. My aunt plays piano in the church I go to, and she knew him because she had a son that played bass, and then he went over there and took lessons or something like that. And I mean, I started taking lessons 8 years old, and I loved it.
Well, at what age did you start writing songs?
Uh, Honestly, I didn't know how to write a song until I was taught how to do it by the songwriters in Nashville, you know. Um, Probably I'm 20, I'm 23, so about 19 years old. I couldn't, I mean, I didn't know how to do it at all, but another influence would be, I mean, if you want to, we can touch further on that. I don't mind talking about it.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's about it for that. But Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan's a big one, and Joe Bonamassa and Chet Atkins. Just their fingers, their picking styles and techniques. I kind of was taught that. Um, no music theory background. Like I'm not against it. I'm open to learning it, but I just was always taught tablature, and that's what I was taught on guitar. Like I love blues, so that really influences me. Playing wise, singing wise, Charlie Rich and Conway Twitty and Vern Gosdin. I could go on, but the ones that nobody really hears, or they know of, but they don't really get to.
But
They,
those are really the singers. You know, that's the singers other singers listen to.
yes, sir. I guess so.
Well, I've noticed just by watching your videos and all the covers you like to do for your fans, you have a great taste in music, and that's about a high compliment as I can pay anyone. You really do. You run the gamut across the board, but you tend to like really great songs, and I can really appreciate that as a lifelong music fan.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to get to your journey on American Idol, and it started in that first year. You were 17 years old. Kind of walk us through that first audition.
The first audition, back to the band situation right there. Um, so when I was in that family band, we were it's done been about half a year or year past of me just playing with them locally or whatever, and my mom, um, she said, "Son, I got home from high. I was in high school still. My mom, I was in 11th grade or 10th grade. I can't remember, but she said, "Hey, son, you wanna go audition? Would you do that for me?" I said, "No, ma'am, I cannot. I can't do it. I just started singing. I'm gonna be scared to death." So I walked inside, thought about it. I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna do it." So I was like, "Okay, mom, you can. I'll do it." So she brought me. The auditions were in New Orleans, and um, that was crazy. Something new to me, like just some kid from out here in the middle of Louisiana going over there. I mean, I've been to New Orleans, but not in that kind of atmosphere of television. So, I mean, I'd auditioned. I got through to Hollywood Week, and the Hollywood Week was something um, definitely new to me. I've heard things about it, like up to the point of where I was, and I was kind of scared, but I also knew at the same time it's like I can't. If I'm comfortable, then it's not. I mean, it's not bad to be comfortable, but if I want to be if I want to be doing music for my life and love it at the same time, I'm gonna have to be uncomfortable sometimes.
That's right.
But I got like I went through Hollywood Week. That's a whole day conversation, but I got through Hollywood Week to like the end of it, to the right after the duets, and I got sent home, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't thinking I was ready the whole time. I was kind of just soaking it all in because it is a great experience if you live in it and not focus on wrong things. You know what I mean? I guess if that
Mhm.
makes sense at all.
It is.
But um, I went home. I started honing in on my craft, and uh, yeah, I got to like halfway through that season.
And that was memorable. I'm sure you used that as motivation. And you would come back in season 17 with a friend we share in Ashton Brook Gill. And you weren't planning on even trying out for season 17, but something about you made their antennas go up and they wanted to hear from you. So how did that go?
How did it come about or anything?
Oh yeah,
Something
yeah.
like that?
Just during there, you went in on the audition to back up a friend. So kind of
Yeah.
explain from there for folks who maybe didn't catch that season.
Well, the second time that I went on the show, I did not have any thought in my mind to go back on and audition. I planned on um, helping out a friend while she sang, so she had little less anxiety, I guess, because it's nerve-wracking, getting in front of the cameras like that. So I was like, sure, Ashton, I'll help you out and come play. And I did just that. And the day came, we were in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and we were I think the last people, she was the last one to audition that day. And I was shocked after she got the golden ticket.
Mhm.
And Katie, Lionel, and Luke were like, why don't you sing us a song? Just we'll listen to you, hear how much you've grown. And I was like, sure. I was like, I'd love to be able to show them, you know what I mean? And as I sang, they got up and started singing, and it made me feel a little bit, confident, like that. I have been doing good by practicing and stuff like that. It's paying off a little bit, and we got more to do. I'm not done practicing, because if I did stop practicing, then I wouldn't go. I'd stay stale in my sound. You know what I mean? But they were waving. Lionel she was waving around the ticket, and they were just like pushing me on, and I was like, I'll do it. And then I did it. I was shocked. My mama was shocked when I left that room, and she was like, "Oh, it's a joke." I was like, "Yeah, it's a joke." And then they were like, "No, it's serious." I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, cool. Here we go."
Well, they noted your confidence and your presence. And I guess you could see that from that first audition to the second. You were like a whole other person. Of course, at that age, you grow a lot in a year, but all those 4 hour shows you were doing, I guess, really paid off because you blew them away. You would go on to win that season, which is a huge feat. But I want to move on to something else. Could you tell me about your first appearances at the Ryman and the Grand Ole Opry?
Yes, sir, I can. It's hard to forget those kind of things. Um, the Ryman, when I was presented with that opportunity, I really couldn't believe it. Uh, but the day came of it, and I was in there, you know. If you've been to the Ryman, if you haven't, you should check it out. But it's just a feeling you get when you're on that stage, seeing the stained glass windows from the stage. It's a dream. It's a dream. It's a blessing. I would call it a blessing. I can't explain besides the fact of it being surreal and uh, something I'll remember the rest of my life. But uh, Riley Green, I think he was performing. Lacey K. Booth, Colby Cooper. We were all like on that show with him, and I loved the ramen, and yeah, I can talk about the Opry too.
Please.
That was pretty incredible too. It was around the time they had a hurricane coming to to Louisiana, and probably it swiped up. It went up through the southern states and stuff. It was a big storm. Hit the coast at like 150 something miles an hour winds. But uh, I think right before that hurricane hit is when I did the Opry. But the Opry, that's something that has been around for years, and it's something that it's country music. That is country music. Like the Grand Ole Opry is the I guess I'm not gonna say the definition of country music, because it's not. It's a place where where the definition of country music can show people the art that is made by just country people like me. Just like good old country. I don't know what I'm trying to explain, but that kind of sums it up in a way, if I'm not confusing anybody.
It's the essence of country music.
That's the word. That's the word for it. But I met
Yeah.
John Conley backstage.
Mm.
I got my football to come back there to just come see all these rooms, and uh, it was amazing to be able to see his. He's 94. He just turned 94. He's never flew on a plane. He flew up there for that, and that was his first kind of thing flying. But I'm glad I got to do that. He got to do that, and I got to do it with him while he's still here. But my mama came with him too. But she wasn't able to come back there because we had some people. We had it was full, but she was okay with that. But my dad, my nephew, and him got to come back there, and my band was already back there. But um, my football, he went to basic training with what's his? We went into his room. We went into his room, and he has these. Not it wasn't Jimmy Dickens. It was it was. He sings "Tiger by the Tail."
Buck Owens.
Wait, no, no, not him. Never mind. I'm sorry. I really want to get this right. Um, he was he had a show at one point.
Porter Wagner.
Porter Wagner, his
All
room.
right. All right.
Okay, so Porter Wagner's room. Me and my papa walked in there. I never knew this my whole life, and it was just me and my papa. No cameras, nothing on us. We're just, you know, soaking it all in. And he said, He said, "That's Porter Wagner." I said, "Yeah, it is." He said, "I went to basic training with him at one
Hmm.
point, a long time ago." He said, "Porter would break out his guitar." So I mean, I think my papa's telling the truth. I believe him, but he said if Porter would, after work was done or he was done, they were done training, or they were eating lunch or something, Porter would break his guitar out and just kind of practice and play around and stuff outside the building or something like that. He told me, but. The Grand Ole Opry was something that it was a dream that I got to be able to do,
And share with your family.
and share with my family, you know.
I want to move that to the next question. Kind of leads in because you're Paw, a veteran. You played for troops overseas. How big of a thrill and a source of pride was that for you?
A big one. To be able to bring something from home to them away from home, it's a humbling um, experience, and uh, you get to really understand in a not fully, but in a partial way that is just rewarding at the end of it because I mean, be able to go out there and sing to them that I mean that are fighting for us and watching out for us is a great thing for me to do. And I was glad that I got to do it, but I got to also fly across. I've never been out the country, and I was like, sure, I was like, I'll do it, and we flew all the way to Abu Dhabi, and
Hmm. How was the
it's,
experience over there? A little different, right?
it's a little different than the United States, but I got to do a bunch of cool stuff. I got to see all kind of stuff. It was fun. It was
Well,
really fun.
hopefully you get more trips like that. A question I always like to ask artists, Laine, after you have a big show where the crowd's really hot and they're feeding you back all that energy, how long does it take you afterward to come down from all the adrenaline?
Right off the bat, I guess that makes. I don't know. I don't think. I mean, I don't. I've never paid attention to it, but I will next time. Uh, it probably. I think it lasts a good little bit.
Yeah,
The
I've heard all sorts of different. Some folks it's 2 or 3 days, some it's 6 hours, but
I've
everybody
never
has.
paid attention to it, but I will next time. It is a rush.
Oh yeah.
Well, the initial rush for me is getting myself to walk on the stage because I'm still the same as I used to be before any cameras were on me, and I'm just like, I'm really here right now. I'm gonna walk on the stage. If I don't walk on the stage, then I don't walk on the stage, but I need to. And once I get up there, it's like the crowd it kind of feeds everything,
Mhm.
and um, walking off. that's walking off the stage makes I want to stay on the stage, but there's a time limit.
Kind of a letdown when you have to leave, right?
hmm
All right. Well, I did mention in your intro you were inducted into the Louisiana Country Music Hall of Fame. How was it to receive that honor in your home state?
It it childhood dreams just I never like as a child I wasn't like I want to be in the Hall of Fame or nothing like that, but that whatever what me doing music when things like that come my way and especially that one come my way, it's like makes me really glad and I'm just happy that I get to do this and I get to kind of be I guess put down in a history of Louisiana music and music in general, maybe. But uh, I don't know. I don't really. I hate being like this, but I mean, I don't want. I hope I don't sound crazy or nothing. But I don't. Talking about myself, I've never really been able to do it much. It's hard for me to do
I
talking about
understand that.
myself,
But look
But
at it this way. You're doing this for your fans.
I understand that.
Oh, yeah.
I understand that. It's tough. I that's what keeps me to be able to do it. I want them to be able to be filled in.
Oh, yeah.
I love their support. They want to know. I get that.
All right. Well, where were you at the first time you heard your music on the radio?
Let me think about this.
Sure.
I think I was driving. We were riding in the bus on a tour, and we were up in the northwest somewhere. I think it was. We were driving from Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska, to Fort Collins, Colorado. That's what it was.
Okay. That's a pretty good
hmm
haul.
It was a good little haul, but
All right. Well, good. Well, you left Disney Music Group and 19 Entertainments. Was that a decision because you felt like you wanted to make your music your way?
it was a decision made
Okay.
for a new chapter in my life to start.
All right. Well, I know I've heard now rumors that you've got some news to share with your fans. So feel free to let it out. Let the cat out of the bag.
I have some really exciting news. I cannot contain myself. I am coming out with a single, I believe, called "That Man," and it's a song I wrote about a year-ish ago, a year and a half ago, with Kylie Sackley and Grant Vogel. Um, I it was I I I walked in. It's coming out April 26th. I just have so much I want to say about it.
I know you're working with a Grammy winner in Jeff Huskins.
I am. The song is being produced by Mr. Jeff Huskins, and he just he's got really good insight on producing when it comes to instrumentally. And we've already went in the studio and cut it and done all that studio time, and just seeing him work is pretty cool and amazing to watch.
Outstanding. You're going to have some shows coming up here in a couple of months in May. Does that sound right?
Yes, sir. I have some shows coming up in the May. I'm playing at Muscle Shoals Theater,
Mm,
Alabama, and Nashville Underground, and on Broadway there in Nashville, the town itself, downtown. And I'm playing at the Atwood Music Festival, um, and I'm doing a show here in Louisiana. So it's starting to come back. Like the shows are starting to line up for me to be able to go out and see the fans and for them to hear some music.
well, hopefully Houston can get added to that list.
I'd love to go to Houston. I mean, I think I might be doing some things in Texas, some shows in
Good.
Texas.
Well, I will stay abreast of what's going on there for the Texas side of things. Uh, and anything else coming up in 2024 you want to share? Should be a big year for Laine Hardy.
Well, I'm just glad. I'm just happy. I'm just happy to be able to use my gift again, and maybe rub off on people. Like, not that anybody needs that or anything, but I mean, a lot of the fans that I care most about are the kids that look up to me. Uh, I when I was on the show, I had mothers and families and fathers. They reach out to me and be like, "Hey," they send me a little video or snippet of their kid or something, and that really spoke to me the most. So I told myself from then on out, I just want to be kind of something they could look up to when it like in music, like what they listen to, what's absorbed in their minds and stuff. I mean, I'm not here to tell somebody how it lives or anything like that, but if I could do it, if I'm that way to, if I'm that way, then I feel like maybe I should at least be true to myself, you know.
Well said. You might be, remember young Laine in the car with his mom saying, "Who is that?" And it was Elvis. And you said, "I like him." Well, you can kind of be that person for some really young kids now. They hear your
Yeah,
sound and like it, and they just want to know more about music. And getting somebody started on a love of music is a big thing. And
yeah.
also, Ablaze Entertainment. How you like being with Paula and her team?
I love Miss Paula.
She's
I love
awesome.
her so much. She is, she's been very, very helpful, and I'm very, I'm grateful for them to come about, and you know, uh, God does some good things. He does some great things, people.
It's great when you have a good team around you, brother. If you're
Yeah.
okay for a couple of minutes, man, I've got some fun questions I'd like to
Oh,
bounce off of you.
okay.
All right, let me find where to start. All right, here's one, and I'll tell you, this is about 50-50. Half the people I've asked, and it's in the hundreds, go one way, and about the other half go the other. So, Laine, do you dry off and then get out of the shower, or do you get out of the shower and then dry off?
I think I dry off while I get out the shower. Like it's like a as I'm getting out, I guess. It's
Okay,
like you know,
yeah, yeah. Okay, I
that
got
makes
that.
sense.
All right, when you're cooking, do you have a favorite burner on your stove?
Burner?
Yes.
Well, my mom, she got a conventional oven and it's just got stove tops.
Okay.
So I just cook on stove top.
Well, but would you have a favorite burner that you use?
Okay. Uh, I mean, I could not tell you the first burner because most things we cook around here is on stove top. But
Gotcha.
we got pots, we got we got skillets and all that. But
All right. With you, is it ketchup on your fries or ketchup on the side?
ketchup on the side.
Oh, you like to dip. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Laine, what is your dream car?
A 1967 Mustang.
Oh, I like the pony cars. That was a good pick.
Me too. Classic muscle. You can't go wrong with that.
No, you can't. You can't at all. Mine will be a 70 Hemi Cuda.
Jimmy Cuda.
Yeah, canary yellow if I had my preference. So but man, I appreciate the time, man. You've got a great story and a bright future. I think 2024 is going to be fantastic for you. Give us the date on the release of the new single once again, please.
The date for the new single,
Mhm.
That Man, is gonna be April 26th, 2024.
Looking forward to that. And I wish you great success with it, my friend. And I hope to get you back on down the road and see what else is going on with you.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on here.
Pleasure was mine. For Laine Hardy, I'm Kenny Graves. Appreciate you checking out Conversations with Kenny Graves.